growing up, being kind of a schoolboy, I always had the impression that the bad boys win, good guys finish last. And to a degree, it really is true. And there are a lot of reasons for that, a lot of explanations for that. But you can see it play out in our sort of folk heroes that arise out of contemporary society. People like Mike Tyson. People love Mike Tyson. The people love Mike Tyson. The people in the community love Mike Tyson. The boys on the block love Mike Tyson. Similarly, guys like Nipsey Hussle. Man, the people love Nipsey Hussle. The community, love Nipsey. I'm not crying, it's just my allergies. I'm out here and the season is changing. You may be thinking, man, this guy's really feeling this lesson. People love Nipsey. People love Nipsey. Now, I'm not really familiar with Nipsey Hussle's music. I only got introduced to Nipsey as a personality in the wake of his tragic demise. But I can see that people really love Nipsey. Similarly, people love Tupac. Now, I'm familiar with Tupac. And people love this guy. Love him. And in every instance, you can look at it and say that, well, these are bad guys. These are bad boys. These are guys who committed offenses and were, a menace to society, right? But you can also see in particularly instances like Mike Tyson and Nipsey Hussle, you can see that these were people, you love them because they evolved. You love them because they recaptured, restored, reclaimed their identities, right? They became, in the end, who they really were all along, right? The one that you ultimately fall in love with in these guys is the guy who they always were. It's just that life, circumstances, conditions gave them a set of options, and they chose options that were available to them at one point in life or convenient for them at one point in life. And those things were notorious, right? In the case of someone like Tupac, you can look into Tupac's eyes and you can see fundamentally that this is a person who is filled with love. This is a person who's really motivated by and inspired by a deep-seated tenderness and kindness. He's saying all kinds of stuff, and we love that he says it because what we feel is the love that's infused with the rage. There's a line from The Last Poets with the song is called "This Is Madness." This is madness. This is madness. And there's a point where he says that I begin to love with hate and hate with love. This is madness. If you don't know the song, you should listen to it. It's phenomenal. It really epitomizes this lesson, actually. But Tupac is that. When we see Tupac and we see Nipsey Hussle and we see Mike Tyson, we see people who are making sense of the madness that is both hate and love, terror and tenderness, all infused into one expression that you cannot separate without destroying the person. But through evolution, through a whole series of of decision making and a commitment to being truly authentic to the kind of person that you want to be, you can reclaim, restore, and revive your real identity. And so all of this is unspoken but understood amongst us, right? Because Nipsey Hussle is my brother. Tupac is my son. Mike Tyson is my best friend. You know what I mean? These are people that we know. These are people we grow up with. These are people who we live with and have intimate contact with, right? And so we love them because they express and embody something that's a very deep part of our experience as Black people in the United States. But we also get a sense of inspiration because we know that as we see them evolve, we know it's possible. I can be the person that I know I am on the inside, in spite of what the world tells me, in spite of my environment, in spite of my conditions, in spite of my past, in spite of everything that seems to be, inevitable. I have free will. I can claim my own identity, right? And the lesson here is primarily for us as men, as Black men. This is why we have to take care of one another. This is why we have to look out for one another. This is why we have to protect one another. This is why we have to uplift one another. This is why we have to be kind to one another, because we know intimately what it means to be us, what kind of burden we bear, and we know the pathway forward. I learned years ago about in the village environment, the people who are most adept, right? So you got men who have to go out to war, and these guys go out and they do what people are not supposed to do, right? All of the moral codes and values and rules and regulations tell you to behave in a certain way. But when you go to war, you throw all that out the window and you do what is necessary to win. And so you, as a human being who has love in your heart, you love your wife, you love your mother, you love your father, you love your son, your daughter, your brothers, your best friend, you love, yourself, right? In order for you to betray all that and go out and do the unthinkable, you don't just erase that, from your memory. So when men would go out into war, before they could come back into the village, they would have to have a kind of a way station. It would be like a stop point. There would be like I don't know what you would call it, a little encampment on the edge of the village. And this is where other men would be there, warriors, and they would take you through a ritual purification to recalibrate you and make you suitable to go back and live amongst the people, right? And that's the role of men. That's our role to one another as brothers. So when we call each other brother, that's what we mean. We look out for one another. I know you coming in, you got blood all over yourself. You got that look on your eyes. Your clothes are torn. You got injuries. You're in shock. I know what's up. Come over here. Sit down. Let's decompress. Let's recalibrate. Let's let that stay on the battlefield so that you can go back and be with the ones that you were fighting for in the first place. And you can't expect them to understand. You can't expect your wife to understand. You can't expect your mother to understand. You can't expect the people who haven't been there to understand. They got their own struggle, right? They got their own struggle. It doesn't mean they don't understand difficulty, but they don't know what you're living. But I know because I'm living it too. And if I'm not living it today, I lived it yesterday. So I'm appealing to you as someone who's been there and done that. Listen to me as someone who's been there and done that. I'm saying what I'm saying because I love you. I want you to be your best person. I want you to have the opportunity to evolve. I want you to have the opportunity to claim the identity that you chose in the heavenly realm. I want you to have that freedom to be the person that you truly want to be and that you are meant to be, right? In spite of whatever you're feeling right now. So let us be together as brothers, real brothers, to help one another, to uplift one another, to be humane with one another, and let us receive that love and that support from one another, based on what it's really about. So that's the lesson for today. I'm gonna keep my walk going and enjoy these beautiful woods in the final days of summer. I pray your day is fantastic, and ultimately, this is an appeal to leaders. I'm looking for leaders. I'm looking for leaders. I'm looking, as I'm walking this path, and the messages come down to me, is because I'm looking for leaders. I'm looking for leaders who are committed to changing the world through positive influence. If that is you, then I want you to find out how Obafemi Odugunwa and the Orisha Lifestyle Academy can help you take your practice and your life to the next level. Check me out at obafemio.com or orishalifestyle.com, and let's get down with helping you live the medicine that will help you heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. Bye for now. Odabo.